All right, Joey, a tough act to follow there,
That's a real tough act to follow. I didn't know you had that in you.
We talk about professional at-bats. That was a professional interview
Wow,
right
he
there.
put on a
Yeah.
clinic right
He
there.
did,
He
yeah.
really did. Analytics were off the chart.
Hey, we're glad to have you back, right?
That's great to be back. Yeah. It's nice to be here when it's not 19 degrees, too.
So how's the off-season going?
It's been really busy. Married off my oldest daughter. Had my first grandson. Yeah, that's life-changing. It really is. It's been busy but enjoyable, and I can smell baseball season coming around the corner.
Yeah, I know you tweeted a lot right after Christmas and the New Year's that this is where it gets going, and you probably felt like that as a player too.
It's the internal clock. You know, you do it for 19 years as a player. Thanksgiving comes along, Christmas, well, it starts with Halloween. Can't forget Halloween. But then New Year's, and you know the body's starting to tell you it's time to get in the cage. It's time to start throwing. You get the itch, and I think the first year that I wasn't a player, it just drove me crazy. I knew I was supposed to be someplace at some time, and I love having that feeling again. I'm ready to get to Fort Myers. I'm ready to get going. I want to see the guys again. Just with Michael and Adam, you get to see the faces, and you got great people around you. You're just ready to get going and get the 2020 season going.
I think what's beautiful about baseball and being in it is that it is a grind, and you look forward to it. Then at the end of the season, you look forward to going home, but then it feels new again. And regardless of how many years you've been doing it as a player or coach, that newness still comes out, doesn't it?
It definitely does. You get to, you have that whiteboard. You get to clean it off and start all over. And everybody has hope. You have dreams. You have aspirations. And, it's an exciting experience. You got a new fresh start coming up. And you got a lot of young guys coming up next year that are exciting talent. And, you're looking forward to the season to get going to see where it's taking you.
Last year, your first season managing in Portland, and I know you're excited to be back. And just tell us a little bit about what you thought of the city, too, because outside of Hadlock Field, it's a lot of fun here.
Boy, I love the seafood. Oof, boy. I'm a big fan of food anyway. Exhibit A and B. I love the chowder, yeah, and I love all the IPAs. But I think the Eastern League did a great thing this year or last season with the halves. We got off to a tough start, and to look at a season when you have a tough start that you have 140 games to play and you're already behind the 8 ball, it's tough. When the guys really pulled together and got things going, and kind of got on a right track in the first half and kind of carried the momentum, and we really played good baseball in the second half. Got to see some guys get promoted to AAA, and got to tell a guy, he's going to the big leagues. So it's pretty special when you get the guy call people in and promote them to AAA. But then when you get to tell them that they're going to the big leagues, it's one of the things that you cherish. You want to see the reaction on their face. You get to share something that you went through, and now you get to give that to them. And Darwinson did a great job. He's going to be there for a long time. He's got great stuff. And he's a special kid.
Yeah, I just wanted to, bringing him up, I remember one of the games he pitched in Trenton, and it was just, the swings were ridiculous.
Man amongst boys.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hard enough to hit, and I can only imagine, because there's no way I'm getting behind the plate catching him again. There's no way. That ship sailed. I give that up. He's got to be a tougher catch. Yeah. His ball goes everywhere. It's so electric. He has such good stuff. Just because he's supposed to throw a fastball or a cutter on one part of the plate does not mean that that's where it's going. He really, as a catcher, it's a stressful time when he's in the ball game, especially if there are guys on base, because you're afraid you're going to have a pass ball just because his ball moves so much. But that's just his style of pitching.
It really proves that a fastball, his repertoire, is not built in all same shapes and sizes.
No.
He's a good example of that.
Exactly, and just because you call it doesn't mean that's what he's throwing either. Allegedly.
Yeah. last year, obviously the record wasn't what you wanted in the first half. The team improved. But on the notable side, I mean, we had a 3-homer game. Bobby Dahlbeck hit 3 homers in Trenton. We had a no-hitter. And Daniel McGrath led the league in ERA. And C.J. Chatham hit 297 in a league that I think hit 230 or 235 overall.
Right.
So the accomplishments, and I know it's a team game, but some of those notables were things we have not seen here in a long time.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys do some really special individual things, which was really exciting. You know, Bobby, if Bobby played Trenton and who else was it he killed? There was another team. He might have had 75 home runs. I mean, it seemed like I was shaking Bobby's hand every time we played Trenton. He beat those walls up in Trenton like I've never seen. And it was, some of those games, it was a misty rain and 42 degrees, and he's still hitting the ball 450 feet. Yeah. And just wondering how he's doing it. And guys are going back to the dugout after they hit, and they're like, I hit that ball with everything I got. And he's hitting it in the street. And just what a special talent. And to have a no-hitter, combined no-hitter, you know, Adam, that was awesome. I'm glad you didn't know. And what was it, about 34 degrees? It was freezing. It was freezing. Oh, God, I was cold. And I'm insulated.
I'm not going to say anything. You just keep making those jokes. I want to go back to Daniel McGrath because he reminded me a lot of Matt Kent the year before, who started as a reliever. He was kind of a guy that just got lost in the shuffle. McGrath was kind of the same. He wasn't in the rotation, but I've never seen anybody take the ball and run with it like he did. I mean, he had that scoreless streak that was, I mean, if he gave up a run, you were like wondering what was wrong with him.
Yeah, it was so special to see a guy figure things out the way that he did. And other teams were perplexed just as well because they'd seen him in the past, and then all of a sudden his just control and his domination and his confidence went to a whole nother level. And it just shows you that you never know when a light goes on for somebody. Yeah. It could be in April or in May, or it could be at the end of the season. But to see that kid, the way he took the challenge, whether he was in relief or whether he became one of our spot starters at the end of the year and carried us. I mean, the guy took the ball and was not afraid of any challenge and just put zeros up every game. And then if he gave up a run, we knew that we were going to score 2 and win the day that he threw. We just knew that it was that one guy in the rotation that was getting, you know, that support that we were going out there and playing for. And that's, you know, the way the team responded. When guys took the mound, you could see the energy when he was pitching or when Mata was pitching. You could see a different level that the guys would play for it.
Yeah, and doing it with fastball, curveball, changeup, yes. Not lighting up the radar gun, but the swings. Yeah. You'd see the swings from the hitters. They would tell you. It didn't matter if the radar gun said 89 or what. The hitters made it look like he was throwing 99.
Yeah, he threw extremely well. He mixed his pitches extremely well. And then his move to first base is unbelievable. It gets him out of so many jams, being able to pick people off. I want to say he had 16 or 17, somewhere around that, 15 pickoffs last year. So pretty incredible. It's an art that's lost by a lot of pitchers. If they go out and you're left-handed and you have an opportunity to pick somebody off, you need to work at it. I mean, it'll get you out of so many jams.
Saves the pitch count too, right?
Yeah. Definitely pitch count.
I know just from being around you last year how much you enjoyed doing this job because I know it's not easy. With minor league manager has a lot to do.
And I have to deal with you.
You have to deal with me, yeah. Yeah. That's a whole other issue. But I know it's not easy, but I can tell how much passion you have for it. Because is this something you thought you were going to do at the end of your playing career at all?
You know, I had aspirations. But I had promised my wife when I got done, we have 4 kids, and they're all grown now, and I promised her I was going to be there to raise our kids. So I took 13 years off, but I was still involved with high school athletics. I was a high school coach for a few years and created my own travel program. But then when the Sox called, it was a no-brainer. Weren't you involved in that interview? One of those all-dayers? Yeah? Yeah? Thanks, Mike, for that lunch, by the way. Now that you're in the big leagues, you know. No, but it's something I love. I aspire to be a major league manager someday. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to be fine with that. I love where I'm at. I love Portland. I love the Red Sox organization. It's classy people. They take care of the staff. The player development guys are just incredible. And we do care about the guys. We really do. The whole system as a whole, the coaches, they wake up and try to figure out how to make these guys better every day.
Yeah, I think the development, too, of a lot of these young guys that get to the big leagues, and then when other young guys get up there, they've been great mentors as well. Mookie, Xander Bogaerts, Christian Vasquez. So that's credit to everybody and to those kind of character guys.
Yeah, and you try to teach them more than just baseball, and you try to teach them about what it's like, and in the culture and the age that I played is definitely not anything like what they're playing in right now. We didn't have social media. We didn't even have cell phones, and I mean, that's way back. And, it's a whole different world, and you've got to be involved in it because it's part of society, it's part of sports, and you have to, I have to be taught. Some of these times I call these guys in, and I'm asking them how to do this stuff. How do you Snapchat? I will not do TikTok, though.
No? We had a whole skit planned for you and everything. Right? Yeah. We'll get you. We get it. Last year, too, speaking of having some notables, having 3 big leaguers, including Dustin Pedroia around and Brock Holt, but Dustin was really good to the guys here and working with them.
Brian Johnson,
Yep.
Brock Holt, and Dustin, they were great. They came in, and it's something special when big leaguer he can come in and give the experiences, and then just watch and show what it's like in their routine, how they go about their business, why they've stayed in the big leagues for so long, and what it takes to stay there and be successful. And these guys had no problem sitting down and talking to the guys, and it was a great experience, and I was lucky that I had them there for a lot of these guys.
Except Brian Johnson had the weakest spread. He bought Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Out of,
yeah, that's all right.
Out of the 3 of them, right? So people with
Dustin had Outback.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Have you talked to Eckersley at all about your game-winning hit off him?
I think I tweeted him.
Yeah. Oh,
It
wow.
was on.
You're,
It was
Joe's
on.
a Twitter.
Oh yeah,
Twitter
definitely,
guy.
definitely. I think they played something on the MLB Network about the team that I played with, the Nasty Boys, and I think I said something. I wonder if Eckersley gets so excited about the game-winning hit I had off of him. I don't think he does. And I tweeted that, and then 5 minutes later, he followed me back. No response, but he just followed me back.
Joe, you're talking like a youngster right now with this whole follow back, Snapchat. This is good.
I've got kids.
You're a good tweeter, though.
I've got
I've seen.
kids.
Yeah, you're on there. The Reds have, similar to Red Sox, great tradition. I mean, obviously the history, the 75 World Series goes down as one of the best. It didn't work out for Red Sox fans, but I know you're still engaged with them, and you've been involved with something with them in the offseason, right?
Yeah, I'm actually, after I get back home, I'm heading out to Reds Fantasy Camp and do that for a week. So get to see old teammates, and I just found out that Rob Dibble is going to be one of my coaches on my team, so that'll be interesting.
You had a great, didn't you tell me that he just showed up in the dugout when we were in Hartford?
We were in
Yeah.
Hartford,
Yeah.
and he has a radio show in Hartford, and I told him to come on out and say hello. Batting practice, hitting fungos. I'm looking everywhere for him. He's not there. In the second inning, here he comes walking in the dugout. Hey, Joe, what's going on with this guy Hernandez? I thought he was supposed to be all this in a bag of chips. And I go, hang on a second. I have to go talk to him. He's reached his pitch limit. I got to take him out of the game. So literally came in the dugout, was having a conversation with me, and I said, be back in a second. I got to go get him.
I think I remember that game. He gave up the grand
Yeah.
slam, but
Early, yeah,
our guys
real quick.
came back and won that game, right?
Yeah, we did. I'm glad you remember that part.
Oh, yeah. I know what to say, somewhat. You were around some great Reds players, too. I mean, Eric Davis, you look at some of the lists, the Griffeys, Barry Larkin, Chris Sabo. I mean, that was a really good time.
I was very fortunate that in the time that I played, I got to meet and play with a bunch of those guys. You know, I had, in our draft that we had in 1983, we had 6 guys make it to the big leagues out of that draft, of Kurt Stillwell, Chris Sabo, myself, Lenny Harris, Jeff Montgomery, and I'm forgetting one other. But, you know, that was part of the core of the team when we won the 90 World Series, of about a 3-year run where there were about 15, 16 guys that came up through the system together. And just very fortunate that, you know, had Barry Larkin, Chris Sabo, Eric Davis, got to be with those guys. They're just special people. You know, when baseball players are very fortunate, you know, you get to stay in touch with your teammates through the rest of your life, and you build bonds and family relationships with people, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of neat that Rob Dibble's in Hartford, and you just happen to be managing here in Portland. And
I'm glad you think it's neat.
Yeah. He doesn't pay for your dinners? He take you out, right? No?
Yeah.
Joe takes you out?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Well, Joe, it's great to have you here. We look forward to having you again in the dugout in 2020.
Great to be back. Thank you, Mike.